Alright, welcome to the video. This is a 10-minute job, $300 from start to finish. It's raw, uncut. I own a tree service. We just cut down a little ornamental tree, so there's a small stump from it in a garden bed area. And then we cut down a pine tree, and there's the same kind of deal. It was in like a garden bed surrounded by landscaping bricks that we ended up just driving right over. Because this machine can climb. It's pretty powerful.
Because it was rubbing on the tire. Yeah.
I was just talking to Eric here about the tire was rubbing on the front part there. That is designed to mount some kind of like pushing blade on there if you were to move chips around with it. I don't have that, and my remote doesn't actually even control that, so it's not something I would even put on there in the future.
On that? Thanks.
I just moved this thing around on a 16-foot dump trailer. You see I have the ramps there. Driving it up down the ramps is kind of sketch, especially when the tires are wet, because they tend to, as they start going up the ramp, they kind of shift a little bit. They slide, so you really got to focus and pay attention. You don't want to lose that machine off the side of those ramps. This machine is a banded 2800 SP. 35 inches wide, and it's just about 10 foot long. It's wider with the front double tires. I can take one each tire off on each side to make it more narrow.
Maybe not.
But the machine box itself, the actual yellow shape of it, is 35 inches wide. And you can see, leaving the tires on, how close you gotta, the dimensions in getting into tight spaces, how that can be sometimes. So here you can see me, and this is all wireless remote, and I'm just kind of with the joysticks just bringing it in, watching both sides of the machine. Again, this is this awesome machine, very powerful. I think it's 80 horsepower diesel turbo engine. I have Tomahawk grinding teeth on it, which are basically indestructible. It's about $600 to replace all those teeth on there. It's 22, I think. But you can see here how I'm getting this huge machine in these tight little spaces. All the decals are stripped off this machine. They were all faded, and so I basically ripped all the decals off and then gave this thing a new paint job just to spruce it up a little bit. It's a 2006. But it's a beast. And you'll see here how quick it makes.
You're good, thanks.
How quick of work it makes with these stumps. That's one that we cut down right there. If you hit a brick or a fence panel with this grinding wheel, it will destroy whatever you hit with it. It'll chip the bricks, it'll break them in half, it'll destroy the fence panel like it's not even there. So you really have to be careful. I've actually mowed over
Is this recording?
metal posts for fencing. They had like cut the fence panel, like fence post down real far with a saw, and I was
here we go.
trying not to get close to it. I mean, it was ruined and they weren't gonna reuse it, but I ended up getting too close to it, and I just ran it over like an aluminum can, like it wasn't even there. You can see how effortless this is with the machine. A smaller grinder would have been better for this job, but this is the only one I have, so I just make it work. I get into some huge stumps in my area, like 5-8 foot stumps for the big trees that we have. So that's why I bought this machine. And when I do smaller jobs, if I can get the machine to fit, then I'll do it. The problem is, you know, I have a minimum of $250 to go out and grind a stump. So, yeah, I might only be there for 30 seconds. Like, look how fast this stump was. So it seems like, man, I just paid $250 for 30 seconds of work. Like, it's just because the machine's a beast. I mean, look at that. Like, it was just nothing. The machine didn't bog down at all. I wasn't pushing it. I just... yeah, it's so simple. So the other stump is just to the left here. And there's 2 layers of brick, landscaping bricks there. And you'll see, I'll just drive right up on them. This is 6-wheel drive. I mean, I guess it's 4-wheel drive, but it's got the extra tires on the top, or on the front. I don't know if you can consider that 6-wheel drive. But the front and rear tires push the machine. You gotta be careful also not to tear up the lawn. So I'm always trying to keep the machine moving while I'm turning the tires so that it doesn't put, you know, divots and tear up the grass. This machine weighs 3,500 pounds. I did put new tires on it. Those were kind of fun to find, to fit. It took me a little bit to figure those out. But I put new tires on it, new paint job. And when I bought the machine 2 years ago, it was already in good shape. So I didn't have to do much to it.
I'll take the first layer off. Just 1 layer.
I could have ran these right over, but I figured we'll just keep it easy on the machine. Try not to break the brakes. I'll just take 1 layer off here. But what are we? 6 minutes into this job. 1 stump's already done. You know, there was that stump right there. As my minimum was $250, and you know, they just add $50 on for the other one. So 6 minutes into this, I've already made $50. I'm not even idled up all the way here. I'm just half idle, just cruising up these things, no problem. You know, the ramps that it has to go up on to get onto the trailer is a much steeper incline than those bricks. And again, no problem going up that incline. You want to have the machine idled down before you turn the grinder wheel on, and then you idle it back up. I think it's probably at 3,000 RPMs, 3,500 RPMs. And then again here, this is a pine stump, so it's actually kind of soft wood, but honestly, it grinds the same whether it's hardwood or softwood. It just eats right through it. We're 7 minutes into this job since I've unloaded. Look at that. Just eats right through it. Now I don't go super deep into the ground on this because, you know, they didn't have any utilities marked or anything, so I never risk hitting a utility. I'll go like 6 inches below surface, which is usually fine. They just want it countersunk where they don't have to look at it. I think this thing will go 18 inches below grade. And it has a pretty far sweep left to right. I want to say 50 or 60 inches. It's got hydraulics on each side. You'll see back towards the machine. One hydraulic pushes it one way, the other one pushes it the other way, and then it's got the up and down hydraulic ram. And here I'm just getting into some of the roots, but you can see now we're at, what? Still under 9 minutes since I've unloaded the machine, and these 2 stumps are gone. That's $300. There's no cleanup to do here because I'm making such a hole that you just backfill it. And now I'm kind of getting into the roots. Just to go the extra mile, just because, you know, it's such an easy job. I want to make sure they get a good product, make sure they get a good service. I always point this machine away from windows and houses if I can, so that if it does throw up rocks, then it's not going to damage anything. If I have to grind towards a window or a house or a car or something, then I'll put up a shield to catch the rocks that are shooting out. The remote is really convenient because you can kind of be wherever you want around the machine. It does have a little lag to it, like 1/4 of a second between movements, whereas there's an umbilical plug-in next to the key that you see on the left side on the machine. You plug the umbilical in, and it's a corded remote, and it's fast. It's instant. So that's why it looks kind of jerky, the operation. It's because the remote's just slightly lagged. You get used to it. I ended up buying this machine off Machine Trader. I want to say I paid $26,000 for it. And after owning it for less than 2 years, it paid itself off. You probably put more hours on it driving it around than you do actually grinding stumps, because I think it moves 2 miles per hour at low speed, and then 3.5 or 4 miles per hour at high speed. It does have a high and low speed though. Oh, my dog's getting yelled at by my wife. Extra entertainment for you guys. So again, just getting the machine out, just taking my time. The front wheels do come off with only 1 bolt. I usually just drive, I have like a couple pieces of 2x4 that I'll drive the front wheels up on, and then I already have a wrench inside one of the compartments where you just take 1 bolt off each side. Wheel just comes right off, so it's very simple. And that's it. Bandit 2800 SP. Awesome machine.